For over 50 years, our organization has worked to end homelessness and provide emergency services for our neighbors in Minneapolis and the surrounding areas. Since the inception of the two original organizations, we have continued to evolve to meet the ever-changing needs of our community. From humble beginnings in a warehouse on Nicollet Island and the basement of a church in South Minneapolis, we now operate a wide range of diverse programs that meet the needs of our community. From emergency shelter and daily free public meals to long-term supportive housing and substance use disorder and mental illness treatment, Agate Housing and Services is here to end homelessness and relieve hunger through action and advocacy.
The St. Stephen's part of Agate's history began at St. Stephen's Catholic Church at 22nd and Clinton. A home to Irish immigrants in the late 1800s, by the 1960s and 70s, the parish found new ways to reach out to neighbors in need. In 1974, a neighborhood fourplex was turned into Agate House, then later renamed Kateri Residence, a housing program for Native American women in recovery. In December 1981, the parishioners responded to people sleeping on church steps and doorways by converting a parish library in the basement of the rectory into the first church shelter in Minneapolis. Soon after, the Alliance of the Streets was started to engage shelter guests in discussions of solutions toward homelessness, creating the first Handbook of the Streets in 1989, with representative payee and birth certificate programs following. From discussions with Alliance members, Alliance Housing Incorporated was created as a separate nonprofit in 1991 to develop new affordable housing properties. They have created 519 affordable housing units since. The first housing programs came along in the late 90s, followed by the rapid growth of the Ending Long-Term Homelessness teams, now SASH, in the early 2000s. In 2007, St. Stephen's created the first street outreach team in Minneapolis, and in 2017, at Hennepin County's request, we started operating the shelter at First Covenant Church. Father Pat Griffin, pastor from 1988 to 2004, led the effort in 2002 to create a new 501c3, St. Stephen's Human Services, to disentangle it from archdiocesan influence and policies, and in 2012, we consolidated most operations at our new home at 2309 Nicollet.
In 1953, House of Charity was founded by Brother DePaul after seeing the high numbers of unhoused individuals on and around Nicollet Island. A small warehouse there became House of Charity's first home. A Christmas dinner in the cramped but well-loved space became a community tradition and is the foundation of what is now the only public lunch in Minneapolis that is served every day of the year. Over the next 65 years, House of Charity grew. It became too big for Nicollet Island, and after a few short stays at various locations around the city, the purchase of the Field Hotel landed the organizations at its permanent home. The building is now our 510 shelter and housing facility. Shortly after, the food center, just a block away, was purchased. Park 7 was completed in 2020 with 61 studio apartments.
In January 2021, the two organizations merged, and in May 2022, we launched as Agate Housing and Services. And that brings us to today, stronger than ever, and working every day to end homelessness and relieve hunger in Minneapolis. Our programs provide a full continuum of care, from meeting people who are unhoused and unsheltered, where they're at through our street outreach team and working with them, finding employment and regaining independent housing. And we're not stopping there. Until homelessness and hunger are eradicated in Minnesota, we have work to do. Agate and its staff will continue to improve our current programs. expand our facilities, and create and strengthen resources that we know our neighbors and communities need. Our food center will serve more people, and the food shelf will provide more vital supplies. Our street outreach team will continue to deepen and strengthen relationships in collaboration with our neighbors and community. Our shelters will continue to serve our unhoused neighbors and find ways to make these spaces safe and welcoming. Our supportive housing programs will continue to assist residents in finding and keeping housing and empowering them to do that independently. Our Welcome Center and Rep Payee staff will continue to provide our community with necessary services like mail collection and payment services. Every program and person matters, and we're honored to be able to do the work we do. We are Agate Housing and Services.